Welcome to our lesson on Statistics 2, Part 2. Okay, we had already done Statistics 2, Part 1. Now, it's just a continuation. I want you to understand how to get two things. Mean from assumed mean. Then, the second thing is standard deviation or variance. Those ones are very close together. So we are given a data here. We are given a data which shows some lengths. Okay, so I have some lengths. This is under grouped data. So from 131 to 140, there are 3 items there. Then the next class there are 4, and so on. So this is grouped data. You are given this column and also this showing the frequency. So what do we do? Number 1, we are asked to get real mean, but we have been given assumed mean. Then number 2, we are asked to get standard deviation, or I can start with variance, because standard deviation is the square root of variance. So unless you have variance, you cannot get standard deviation. I want you to concentrate on your table. The piece I'm doing is B, the last part. B, the last part. The last part shows sigma fx squared over n minus, this part I'm reading is in bracket, sigma fx over n, that is bracket, and then you square. So I'm trying to use your table. This part is very important for you. Correct interpretation will save time during exam. X is basically a raw data which is used as an entity. Like if I gave you 7, 12, 8, 14, 27, those figures in statistics, they are known as X values. Okay? What I'm going to add is letter D, D for deviation. Okay? When we are given assumed mean, we have to get D, D for deviation. How far has an entity deviated from assumed mean? Okay? So what I want you to get right from here, the column we are going to make will come from these letters. The first part has sigma fx over n. That is the first part. Sigma fx squared over n. The very first part, this one here. Fx squared over n. Now, f is already on the table. So you have to quickly get n. And what is n? The total. Okay? The next letter is there, x squared. In place of x, we can put d for deviation. So anywhere there is x, we can put d. So what does it mean then? F is on the table, n you can add and find. What else? X squared, and then the product fx squared. So we have to get, in our context, d, then get d squared, then multiply f times d squared. So the column we are creating here are as a result of the formula. Okay? It is coming from the formula. We don't imagine things. So let us go to this work and we see. When you are given grouped data, to get x, x is the midpoint. So we add 131 plus 140 divided by 2. You get here. 141 plus 150 divided by 2, you get. So this was given f. We have introduced our x. How? The middle of each class. So what next? From the formula, now I be shifting you up and down. From the formula for variance, this is the sum. Whenever you see this, you add. But this is a product of f and square of this. Okay? So what do we need? N is the total sum. We know frequency, add them, they give you n. Frequency is given, so it's not a big deal. So we have to get d squared first. After getting d squared, we shall multiply by f on its own. X has been substituted by d. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Even here there was x, but now we put d. Okay? So we go up again. This is how we get d. You take values of x, subtract the assumed mean. We have been given assumed mean as 165.5. So when you subtract 135.5 minus 165.5, you get this, negative 30. 145.5 subtract 165.5, you get negative 20, and so on until the last x. So this is d. Now in the formula, we have an operation square the values of d. So you have to get square of the values of d. I get this value, you square them. This you square, this you square, and so on. So now this gives us d squared. But in the formula, the numerator wants us to multiply f times d squared. So after getting d squared, you multiply by f. Now this is d squared and this is its f. 900, sorry, this is fd. We get fd first. fd, f3, and then negative 30. Okay? So you get negative 90. 4 is f, its d is negative 20. You get negative 80. Okay? So you move with it step by step. D squared, you give fd, you give fd squared. So what about d squared times f? It will be this. 900 is d squared multiplied by f. So you have fd squared, you write here. You come the second line. The d squared you are handling now is 400 multiplied by f, which is 4, it gives you 1600. You get. So you do, and then you get now the summation. So we focus again a little down here. We get their total. This is the total of f, 40. This is the total of fd. And this is the total of fd squared. So let us concentrate a bit on the formula down here. I want us to move down and concentrate. To get mean, this bar x is assumed mean plus mean deviation. This one is known as mean deviation. So sometimes you can be asked mean deviation. You should know what it is. Okay? And this is mean deviation. So our FD, we got negative 20. Negative 20 divided by 40. It is negative 0.5. Assumed mean, we were given 165.5. 165.5. So this, you subtract this, because mean deviation is a negative, so you subtract from here, you get that. So you get this correct. Let us go to variance. So I take FD squared, these values here. This is the total of FD squared. You put put it here that way, divide by 40, minus this component, we had already found it here. So sigma fd over n is negative 0.5. This component here, this part, we had already found negative 0.5, but you are required to square. So after squaring, this will be positive. Negative here, subtraction here is part of the formula. So you take this, which is coming to around 200 and 220. This is around 220. You can cancel here. Okay, you can cancel. Then this goes here, 2, 2, 0. So 220 minus 0.25, you get 219.75. If I'm asked for standard deviation, I get the square root. Standard deviation is the square root. But that is finishing a part. So in conclusion, what do you need to know? When you are given assumed mean, go to the back page, quote that formula. That formula, the x, instead of x, we change and put d. D for deviation. The values you got from grouped data, the middle points, are known as x. Okay? The middle points are known as x. So how do you get deviation? Those values you got here, these x's in red, you subtract the assumed mean. So these are the differences between assumed mean and the x. It is this. So don't do it to suit you. You keep on changing 165.5 minus x, somewhere x. No, this is a formula. To get d, you take x values, you subtract assumed mean, you get. Then you move. Where there is a product, the first thing you do is you separate the factors. E.g., I had f and d squared. These are product in the formula. F multiplied by d squared. So what I do is I first get d. After getting d, I square. After squaring, I'll multiply the squares of d times corresponding values of f. This other part you will get because it is d, which you know, you multiply by their corresponding values of f. Keep on subscribing, remember, so that you get the next. Till then, bye-bye.